Okay, so Coolgeek, you want to start on Panoptes? Excuse me. You want to start on Flash, or do you want me to start on Panoptes?
You can start on Panoptes first. That's fine.
Okay, so Panoptes is multiversal plus and high grade and measurable speed because he scales above the Vex, as he is also one of the time gods. The Vex converge upon time and space and move throughout different points in time and space, which mean that they had to be high grade and measurable speed because they're not bound by time. Here, let me go find that stuff. And of course, as for scaling, he is multiversal plus as he had created, as he had created the infinite forest. The infinite forest is inherently infinite. Let me go find that one too. Here, okay. Anyway, so, while I'm starting on that, you can go ahead and start on your scaling for Flash because Panoptes is pretty easy.
All right, cool. All right, so my argument is that Flash should be decently into immeasurable because he consistently speed blitzes people that can travel back through through time. They can travel back through time, and he like speed blitzes them really bad. I'll provide scans for that.
Okay, so let me go grab the video of Curse of Osiris story. So Osiris. Here, I'm gonna grab the entire walkthrough for Curse of Osiris. Has the entire story, explains Panoptes, created the created the infinite forest. So here, let me go drop that in debates. Drop everything in debates, by the way. So alright, so this is quite a shit. I'm also gonna get my other skin that talks about that talks about the infinite forest being inherently infinite. Let me go grab that one. So do you want to start on a win con for Flash while you're getting your scans? Or you want to get your scans first?
I want to get the scans first. I gotta formulate this properly.
Alright. I'll go ahead and let you give the first win con for Flash.
All right, give me a sec.
Okay.
You said debates, not debates and scans.
Just drop it in debates since this will be a quick debate.
Sure. All right, give me like a few minutes.
Here. This is the page talking about excuse me. This is the page talking about the infinite forest. So in this scan here, it explained that the infinite forest is that there's an uncountable number of ways to be between 0 and 2. And that basically like math in the Vex is defined as infinite, as math itself is just a lower level concept to the Vex. So they basically just retain and control physics throughout time and space and then implement that as law in the infinite forest. And then of course in the video I linked, Osiris talks about that Panoptes was born in the so so anyway, Osiris talks about how when Panoptes was born, he created the infinite forest, right? The infinite forest itself scales above the entirety of the Vex who are not bound by time, which means that Panoptes would inherently have to be a high grade measurable speed because he was born.
All right, give me a few seconds.
Yeah, so how high into measurable speed can you get Flash?
Let me see. I know I can get him to a few times like baseline and measurable, but let me see. I think I have an idea.
Well, what's your definition of a few times above baseline?
Enough to speed blitz like 4 immeasurable speed people at the same time by a bunch.
Okay, well, would you say that he's not bound by time?
Yeah,
Can you drop scans of that?
sure. Give me a sec.
Because because in this scan here that I'm also gonna drop. Sorry, this is taking a while, but yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go like drop it in another chat. Except I have to go
All
scan
right.
in there. Okay, no. Okay, someone go delete their screenshot in general. I was just looking for a place to like to get the link for the scan. Okay, over here in debates, here's the scan talking about where the Vex are not bound by time, which means that because they can converge through time and space, they're not basically bound by laws, but open space. Uh, which means that scaling off this scan, which is really stating that the Vex are not bound by time and can travel throughout time and space. Uh, this would mean that they would have to be high grade immeasurable speed, which is inherently above to the extent that you're getting flash to.
All right, sure. Let me get some scans. Hold up.
And then I've already quantified how high into infinite 4D Panoptes is. I've already talked about how he was inherently born to be this level. And of course, Osiris tanked a few attacks in Panoptes and the Guardian skills to Osiris, which means that attacks do not work on Panoptes. So this would mean that Panoptes would have to be much higher into infinite 4D than, say, Osiris or the Guardian.
All right, then hold on. Let me see. I think I have something for that.
Let me grab the scan of Osiris. I like being able to tank Panoptes' strongest attack. I don't know. So, you want to go ahead and start on a win con, or you want me to start on a win con?
Hold on. I'm trying to find this stupid scan. I need to find it for the speed point. Hold on. Because I don't want to forget. But basically what I'm trying to find is this like scan that basically says how like the anti-monitor is able to like eat all of the infinite universes like at all points in time simultaneously essentially. So let me find that.
Yeah, so you want me to start on a win con for Panoptes?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Okay, so Panoptes is going to BFR Flash out of the concepts of time and space itself, and now he can just lock Flash out of this realm for all eternity. What way does Flash have of getting back to the to the realm of Panoptes?
He could BFR himself out of the BFR realm into the Speed Force and then back to the battlefield.
Flash, excuse me, Panoptes will just lock away the Infinite Forest. So like Flash will just have no way of getting back in there.
Wait, why would this standard battle assumptions would dictate that the battle's taking place in a neutral space, not the infinite forest?
Yeah. But the thing is, the Infinite Forest is a space that Panoptes controls. So basically Panoptes is dragging the Infinite Forest over to the fight where we're basically taking place at, right?
Can you provide scans of him being able to do that?
Yeah. So let me go find this. Well, excuse me. So basically, Panoptes itself is the infinite mind, right?
Yeah.
The infinite mind is the infinite forest, which means that it's a realm of itself in time and space. Because Panoptes is in this realm of time and space, this would mean that Panoptes here go would essentially just drag the infinite forest with wherever he goes at. I've already dropped a video of the Curse of Osiris storyline.
All right, here, let me see where you dropped that at. Let me check. Hold up.
It's over in the debates room. Here's
Okay.
Panoptes being able to FR attack.
All right, let me see. Is it the Ishtar connected one?
Yeah, so Ishtar Collective is talking about how the Vex control realms that have control realms that have mathematical infinites with between 0 and 2, right?
Yeah.
This and that 0 and 2 is a physic in the Vex worlds, and that Panoptes himself is a Vex world, right? The Infinite Forest. That's why he's Infinite 4D.
All right, cool. Here, let me watch the video first, though. Let me go through this.
Well, that's the entire storyline. I have to go show you where in the video that it'd become a Panoptes. Here. And I hate advertisements. Hold on a moment.
Yeah, I clicked on it before you told me that it was like you'd have to give me a timestamp. I clicked on it, and the first thing I saw was an ad.
All right, so if you go to an hour and if you go to an hour and 44 minutes, this is where the Panoptes boss fight starts. It's literally showing that whatever the Guardian has will not work on Panoptes, and then and throughout the entire boss fight, basically it's an ass pull of how they kill off Panoptes because he has a fucking weak spot whenever he actually doesn't by a lot.
All right, cool. Let me tackle that first.
So. Here, let me go. If you go to 38 minutes in the video, this is where Osiris explains the birth of the Infinite Forest and how Panoptes birthed it from his creation. So I'll let you. I'll give you a moment to tackle the stuff before you start the WinCon. So basically, how Panoptes works is that he's the infinite mind, right? And that because Panoptes is the infinite mind, this doesn't mean that his realm basically is bound to him. And that because his realm is bound to him, essentially whatever point in space-time he's in, the realm follows. Or the physics of the realm follows. Because the infinite reality he's in is a separate multi-set of infinite realities. Hence why the name the Infinite Mind. Yo, Coolgeek, you there?
Yeah, all right. Let me try and go through this slowly, right? All right. So, what did you say that was at 1 hour and 44 minutes?
An hour and 44 minutes is where the boss fight against Panoptes starts. It's where literally nothing works on him, right? And that the Guardian and that every class will not be able to affect Panoptes in that realm, right? Or just won't be able to affect him in general because he's immune to their abilities. We see this because he's literally tanking gunshots, and gunshots are the demiurge of the Guardian. And that the demiurge of the gun is law manipulation and reality warping, and every other ability that the Guardian has just does not work on Panoptes.
Okay. So can you prove that the guard scales that because Panoptes' power clips them so badly, then his hack just wouldn't.
Not power. No. If he was power clipping him, then his weak spot should not have even been damaged.
His hold on. Okay. Sorry, I'm ignorant on the verse. What do you can you explain that to me a little better? Because I've never.
Boss fight, Osiris manages to show a quote unquote weak spot for Panoptes, right? This means that because you can damage his weak spot or his core, that Panoptes doesn't inherently power cliff Osiris and the Guardian.
Okay, can you like explain what the weak spot is?
It's his core. His core. See, Panoptes has a third-dimensional core when he himself is an infinite fourth-dimensional existence.
I see. All right. So in that case, wouldn't that just affirm what I said? Because like if they can damage his third dimensional core, but not his like fourth dimensional like self, right? Then wouldn't that mean that well his core is weaker so they can damage it more easily, right?
Yeah, which should mean that he'd be able to power cliff his core, but not himself.
Right, exactly.
See, every Vex is their own existence, and in Destiny, your soul is not related to your form. We know this because character verse can use light.
Okay. All right.
And
So
here, let me go drop another scan where it talks about how X cells don't have. Where's that
okay.
scan at?
Well, that just kind of proves
So-
that they don't power cliff Panoptes. Can you like show like Panoptes like show them like scaling to Panoptes and him just being like immune to them, like some sort of like statement?
The Guardian scales to Osiris, and that Osiris took a few of Panoptes' attacks. Or at least the one where the Panoptes was just trying to delete them from time and space.
All right, can you press scans for that, please?
Yeah. Here.
Thanks.
Right there. That's Osiris and all of his after image selves, which basically that's an amped Osiris. Basically, like trying to like stop Panoptes and trying to delete them from time and space.
Okay. All right. Now that I got the dimensions right, so what were you saying about like him like locking the dimension or something? Can you like explain to me what that means?
So Panoptes is the ruler of the infinite forest, right? Or is the infinite forest. Now, the infinite forest is, and that the concept of the infinite forest is bound to Panoptes' nature, which means that whatever point in time and space Panoptes controls it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is why his name is Panoptes, the Infinite Mind.
So in that case, would you agree that he scales to infinite forest?
The Infinite Forest is him.
Right. So it would scale to him, correct?
Yeah, it scales to him.
Okay. So how would like I don't know how this would like work. Is he like reinforcing it or something? I don't know.
So think of your house as the Infinite Forest, right?
Yeah.
Except with like the flick of the wrist, you could say make your door say an iron door, or put some 50-foot wall around your house, right? Once I shove you out of my house, lock the door, and then put 50-foot walls around it, you cannot get in. Basically, that's what Panoptes can do to Flash.
Let's see. Okay, I think I see what you mean. I think I might have something for that. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Speed Force like reverse bar that. But okay, so like how? Okay, so he like reinforces it so Flash can't get back in. Okay, here let me get something for that.
Every Vex has subjective reality, so he could just like command the Force or whatever Flash is using to just not be real.
Hold on, give me a minute.
Alright, so you know how like Panoptes can like manipulate the Infinite Force to a reality he's in, right?
Yeah.
While he's controlling this reality, he would also have access to some reality.
Yeah.
That with the power of subjective reality, he can use it to say create realities and whatnot. And that a part of subjective reality can just say command whatever you're doing to not be real, so it would not be able to enter Panoptes. Here, let me go and let me go drop another one.
All right.
Basically, this scan is like talking about sets up a new reality forming, and this is because Panoptes rules the infinite force itself. Or is the infinite force itself.
All right. All right. I'm just gonna argue that be able to use hacks to get back in because he can use his hacks on people that scale above him.
Okay, so then I'll go ahead and steal men because you're not really getting the semantics of what Panoptes can do. So, Panoptes would just command Flash to not be real.
Okay, and you said that you subjective reality manipulation, right?
Subjective reality. With subjective reality, you can create other realities or command something to not be real. Every Vex has power, including Panoptes.
All right, give me a minute. Give me a moment. I'm finding this. I have quite a few of them.
Alright, so what does Flash have for Panoptes just commanding him to not be real?
Hold on. I'm trying to find some. I lost my. I know what I'm looking for if I find it.
You guys still here?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm just looking for some scans. I think I should have organized them better.
Basically, the win con I have for Panoptes, since I just went ahead and steel man the Speed Force, since he doesn't really get how Panoptes' infinite force hacks work. I just went ahead and said that he'll just command Flash to not be real.
Hold on, let me see. Where is it? Where is it?
So, like, do you have any counter to Panoptes just commanding Flash to not be real?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Okay. Also, I have another question. Is Flash a causal?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Okay. So does anyone have like any questions so far since Coolgeek's grabbing his skins?
Dang, I could have sworn I had it at the bottom, but it's not at the bottom.
So like what counter do you have for Panoptes just committing flash to not be real? Like what type of counter would you have to that?
Okay, yeah, because all right, so I looked into subjective reality manipulation a few days ago, and what I basically found out is it's basically a combination of reality warping and like law manipulation, and Flash has resistance to both. Okay, then can you define it?
Subjective reality means that your perception of the objective world around you is subjective in nature. It's not a combination of law manipulation or reality warping, simply just because it can command laws and reality to be subjective. It is its own idea. You're commanding it to not be real, or you're bringing something fictional into real, or something that is right. Like say, let's say you had subjective reality, right? Well,
Yeah.
because of subjective reality, you could command say Goku to be real, or say Superman to be real, right? Just like you could say command to be fiction again. Simply because reality and say time and space itself is subjective to you.
All right, give me a sec.
And that because Panoptes would just Flash to be an unreal being, this would mean that Flash, who has no counter to subjective reality currently, would just be unreal.
Okay, let me think about this a little bit. Give me a minute.
So does anyone have any questions about subjective reality, like while Coolgeek's thinking of a counter? Anyone? Anyone know? No, he didn't concede. It's just he's looking for a counter to subjective reality. Hey, Cyber, you know how the infinite force works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I told Coolgeek that like even the Speed Force wouldn't really let Flash to enter back into the infinite force since Panoptes would transcend Flash, but like I just went ahead and seal mandated it because it'd just be a semantic debate. So I just went with subjective reality to make it quicker. And I'm sure we know this, but Panoptes has his own equivalent to 10 crowns, except like every other hack as well, except for narrative, of course. He can check and say block out narrative, but he can't really directly counter it.
All right, so let me think about this. I think I have something.
You can go. I'll go ahead and steal man whatever you're about to talk about. So don't worry about the scam. So,
Okay,
what counter
so
do you have with subjective reality?
okay, so since you said he'll basically just like I think the wording you used was blip flash out of existence. Wouldn't that be a form of existence erasure as a result of the subjective reality manipulation?
No, he'd just be rendered fiction.
So it'd be like turning Flash into like a drawing or something?
Yes,
Okay.
it's equivalent to that.
All right. But like in his head, right? It'll be like Flash will be like a thought of Panoptes, right?
Yes,
All right.
and also the Vex sees across every construct of time and space.
All right.
Also, I asked you on whether or not Flash was acausal earlier, and you said yes. To what extent is he acausal?
He can like basically crap, I wish I had memorized the different types of acausality. He's essentially he's basically he's like his existence is like if you like here say you like remake the multiverse, right? Like for some reason if you were to like kind of like how Panoptes can like manipulate the infinite forest, if he like rewrote like everything in it, Flash would still be the same. Pretty much nothing would happen, kind of like how as a matter of fact Flash actually caused something similar to happen when he like changed the the multiverse in
Okay,
DC and remembered
here,
everything.
let me rephrase my question. Alright. Can Flash stop Panoptes from just rendering everything throughout the entirety of the infinite multiverse itself to its very concept? Stop Panoptes from just rendering every Flash from every reality fiction and just simultaneously have it affect each other all at once?
Well, I'd argue that wait, did I already have a counter to the
I
that?
went ahead and steal. I went ahead and steal man, so you didn't have to stop us again.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'd argue that it wouldn't. Yes, he wouldn't be affected if anything happens to any of the other Flashes.
Okay, well, he's gonna render every Flash from every separate reality, including the Flash you're using to be fiction. At least to the extent that we're putting Flash out.
Sure. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Let me look.
So, so we both agree that Panoptes can control whatever infinite multiverse is in because he is the infinite forest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, you guys just
Panoptes could also just render your acausality to be fiction.
okay, you
And
guys
that,
just want to get allowed like the issue I'm having right now is Keith hasn't really given a win column, so if you want him to try and give a win column to me, you guys can go to conclusions.
yeah, I'm just expanding on Panoptes right now before I'm letting him give a win call. Okay, so so you'd agree that every Flash throughout the entirety of the multiverse itself will not be affected by other Flashes, right? Well, just go ahead and assume that. So
Yeah.
Panoptes can just command your acausality to be fiction, and then after that, just turn Flash and every other Flash into fiction, at least to the extent of infinite multiversal that Flash is currently on.
Sure. Okay. I'll go ahead and concede then. That's fine.
You're not going to give a win con?
Nah, nah. I'm having trouble dealing with this subjective reality manipulation and stuff. I think I'm gonna concede there.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah, I was leave it to judgments, and then after that, you can just get a win con. I'll go over Panoptes after that.
All right.
Just go ahead and get a win con.
All right, sure. All right, give me a minute. I'm gonna have to get a good one.
Gotta say, Panoptes looks fucking badass when he's trying to clap his hands, right? This kind of like him trying to this kind of like him trying to delete you from time and space, and Osiris is blocking it. Looks fucking cool. Anyway, so.
Oh, I think I have a good one. Give me a minute.
So what win con do you have for Flash? So go ahead and steal me whatever you're trying to find.
All right, so I'm gonna argue that he can basically explode you on a conceptual level while he's like phasing through you.
Okay, so the light and darkness are constructs, and that every being in the Destinyverse has access to light and darkness, which are
and one more thing.
which are then themselves constructs of concepts.
Oh, and I want to add
Which you
one more
mean that
thing.
Panoptes would which you mean that Panoptes would inherently have an immunity to that type of hack.
Okay, but the thing that I kind of forgot to add is he can even like phase people who like scale massively above him because he like did this to like a 5D being. So he should be able to do this to Panoptes.
that would be like out of tier since we both agreed to cap on infinite multiversal.
But we didn't cap hacks though, just AP.
We did. We capped everything at infinite multiversal.
Let's see. All right, let me find something else.
I'm fine with you using the win con, except it just be infinite multiversal instead of high multiversal.
I think I'd rather trade because in that case, I'm pretty sure it's not going to do anything.
All right. I'm fine with you say downplaying your win cons to like whatever extent you want them to be at. If you're trying to like argue a win con for Flash.
Yeah, sure. Give me a minute.
Like what skin are you looking for at the moment?
Not sure. I just lost my train of thought. Give me a minute though.
Okay. Name every win con you have for Flash, and I'll scale man every scan you're talking about for them.
All right. Sure. Let me see. All right. I guess let's start at the top then.
Just go ahead and give me a list of win cons, and we'll go over them one by one.
All right. Cool. All right. So Flash has All right. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit. All right, he has speed stealing. He can take your kinetic energy and such to anyone who's like relative to him.
Okay, so I have a question then.
Sure.
Does it work on conceptual beings who have conceptual immunities to such hacks?
No. Well, not that scale of us anyway. Or
Panoptes itself isn't bound by time or space, and thus the concept of Panoptes wouldn't exist in time and space, right? So it means something like that would just not be on Panoptes' level inherently.
right.
How do I word this? See, Panoptes is an existence where he simultaneously exists and doesn't exist. Like on one point, on one end, he has an objective existence within Destiny 2 and the entire infinite multiverse, but he himself doesn't exist because he's not bound by time and space, right? Because how you have to beat Panoptes is that you have to grab his geographical dimensionality map, right? And characters like, say, Osiris, or he has access to, say, Vex technology or something on this level. That's the only reason the Guardian could even fight Panoptes in the first place.
Wait, can you repeat that one more time? Grab his what?
So the Vex have a geographical mathematic model of the entire infinite multiverse and can just go throughout the entirety of the infinite multiverse itself, right? The Vex as the entire race isn't bound by time and space, thus doesn't exist within the concepts of time and space, right? However, they have their own objective existence that allows them to appear where they're at, not in the past or the future.
I see. So you're arguing something along the lines of like they would exist in a their true form would exist in a higher dimension and keep them in the real world alive, quote unquote, I guess.
Not necessarily them having true forms. What it is that they themselves are the true forms, right?
Yeah, Fallen,
However, the multiverse or any part of time and space does not bind them. And because you're talking about something that has a multiversal or a physics contingent, is something that they're not bound by, it just won't be able to quote unquote reach Panoptes.
Okay, can I say one thing really quick?
Yeah.
Geek, when you're done for Crucifixion round 4.
Yikes! All right. Yeah, I had a feeling you were gonna say that.
All right. So you want to go ahead and move on to your next WinCon, or you want to can continue on this WinCon?
I'm gonna go on to the well, let's continue on what you were saying just then. I want to make sure I entirely 1000% understand.
Okay. Okay, how do I work? All right. When you're a causal type 3 or 4, it means you yourself exist, right? There's no multiple versions of you. There's just multiple or infinite parallel yous, right?
Sure.
And that the Vex would have an infinite parallel versions of themselves as they themselves are not bound by time or space. And something that requires a physics or some conceptual contingent, like say velocity manipulation or speed stealing, requires you to be bound by physics. But Panoptes isn't bound by physics, because one, his subjective reality dictates that physics isn't truth, and two, because he himself is a Vex, he just isn't bound by physics. If anything, he commands the concepts of physics.
Alright then. Alright, does he have resistance to mind hacks?
Yeah, he doesn't have a mind.
Functions? Because I don't think this necessarily requires him to have a human brain.
The existence known as Panoptes operates within the construct of their darkness that the Vex has access to, right? And that the Vex themselves are a hive mind, they themselves do not have individuals. So you'd have to prove that Flash could mind hacks the entirety of the Vex race across the entire concepts of space and time itself.
All right, hold on.
Think of Panoptes as a computative while simultaneously higher dimensional sentient existence. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, so every Vex is fourth dimensional, right? However, they have a third dimensional core.
Yeah.
They themselves are a higher level existence, but because they have cores, is like why they even appear in the multiverse in the first place. Otherwise, they just wouldn't be bound to the multiverse.
Wait, so then wouldn't that be like a wouldn't that make their hacks out of tier then?
No. Okay, so that's right. Everything I've taught about Panoptes so far was infinite 4D, right? Across the concepts of, say, infinite 4D space and time, right?
Yeah.
It's more or less that their cores just anchored them to having a form, whereas when they didn't have their cores, they wouldn't have a form. But because Flash has no way of knowing that Panoptes has a core, or a weakness, or anything like that, or anything on par with, say, the light or darkness, he just wouldn't be able to, say, harm Panoptes. With either mind hacks or even. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, give me a minute. I think I have the perk for this. Hold up.
Go ahead and talk about it. I said I'd still main every WinCon you got.
You guys want to go to conclusion?
Well,
I'm letting Coolgeek list off one. I'm letting Coolgeek list off every WinCon he has for Flash, and I'm still manning every scan he has for a particular WinCon.
Okay, so all right, so Flash was stated to be able to see all futures, like in like every timeline and stuff. So I'm gonna argue that and then he knows like everything about them, right? And so I just argue that since he has this like ultimate knowledge per se, that he would know about Panoptius's core and try to attack it, say via like phasing, like he can maybe like try and like phase the core or something like that. And like I said, he can like explode things he like phases.
I've already covered that. That would be going down something you've already conceded to. We've already talked about the speed ceiling thing, and plus we've already talked about the mind hack. So we don't need to go down those routes anymore. But since
Okay,
we talked about a utility hack in this case, Panoptes isn't bound by the past or the future. And that you see this ghost here, known as the reflection of, or known as Sagira, or see the reflection of Osiris right there. Panoptes is where Panoptes is at presently. He's not in the past or the future. So the Panoptes that Flash is fighting is where Panoptes is at. He doesn't exist in the past or future.
All right, does Panoptius have resistance to antimatter?
He has an inherent immunity to it because it's a construct of concept.
Yeah, all right.
And then if you're gonna bring up existence erasure, if Flash has that again, Panoptes is a causal type 3. Since he's not bound by the future or the past, so he would just like come right back.
Right. Let me see.
And we've already went over the WinCon I had for. Sorry, we've already went over the WinCon I had for Panoptes. So.
Yeah. Okay. One last thing. I think may or may not. Does Panoptius have resistance to conceptual destruction?
The light and darkness themselves are concepts. Every being in the light and darkness fights each other on a daily basis, including the Guardian, but the Guardian cannot harm Panoptes. Which means that
but do they like
Panoptes would have an inherent immunity to any type of conceptual attack that Flash would throw.
Including blatant destruction?
Yes.
All right, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and concede right now.
GG. Good debate.
All right, that was pretty
Well,
fun.
that was every win con you had for
Okay,
Flash.
okay. Let me tear you apart right now. If the whole point was Multiversal Plus, why the heck didn't you scale the Flash to the metaverse?
I didn't get scans